Okay, so it's been a couple of days since my last news video covering Civilization 7, and we got another patch today. And big news, they released Civilization 7 a couple of hours early. It is available now on Steam, Mac, and Linux globally. They released that message at 6:22 p.m. CST on February 10th. So anyways, moving on to the patch that we got today. It is 1.01 patch 2, released on February 10th. And it looks to be a number of gameplay fixes, AI changes, camera fixes, and then UI updates as well. As they promised, they did promise us some UI updates, as they said that was their number one priority. Luckily, it does look like they have a large number of gameplay changes as well. Okay, let's get right into the gameplay changes. So first off, they said they fixed an issue causing ages in epic and marathon speed games to be shorter than intended. I didn't hear anything about them being too short, and I personally haven't played any epic and marathon speed games. However, I did hear that there weren't enough resources in these games to build up like you should be able to in a normal game. So maybe just making the ages longer will fix that issue, as less resources but more time equals the same amount of resources. So the next fix that they had is city-states will now turn into friendly independent powers on age transition instead of disappearing completely. They will also now start with more units in the exploration and modern ages. I like this change. I think it gives you more reasons to not immediately kill off all of the city-states that were near you that you didn't want to befriend. And it keeps them like staying in between the different ages, because before, you would have these city-states, you would see them a lot, you would interact with them, you would fight them, yada, yada, yada. And then on the age transition, they would just disappear, which honestly felt a little bit weird because there's no explanation. So this makes a lot of sense, and I like this change a lot. Next, they said they fixed inconsistencies with naval combat. I don't know what that's about. The naval combat that I had felt pretty normal, but maybe I just didn't do enough of it. I didn't get into a lot of the naval combat, to be honest. Naval units will use the correct combat strength values when attacking other naval units in all distances. That's one of the naval changes. The next one is naval units will properly take reciprocal damage after attacking another naval unit. Most of the naval stuff that I did was like raiding another enemy like from the sea. I didn't really fight that many naval units, otherwise I'd be able to comment on these. And naval units will more consistently move into the attack tile after defeating another naval unit. Again, I never actually experienced that being a bug, but I believe it was, sure. So moving on from there, completing the final milestone of a legacy path no longer adds age progress in the modern age to ensure you have more time to complete a victory. So maybe what that means is I never actually didn't win. So I guess if you take too long, then the game will just end and maybe whoever has the highest score wins. I don't know how that works because, again, I've never not won in the modern age, but I guess that was an issue. But generally, I was also going for militaristic victories, so maybe the science and the civic ones take longer. So moving on from there, towns will now switch their focus back to growing town automatically if they are no longer eligible for their chosen focus. For example, if their population decreases until they are eligible again. That's a nice just quality of life change. Good. Future Civic is now repeatable in all ages. The cost of Future Tech and Future Civic will now increase more when repeated. That's cool. I guess it gives you something to, research or do your civic once you finish it. Personally, again, I never really ran into this issue because I just like fighting, and the technology and the civic trees were not what I focused on. I'm sure I will in the future, but not an issue that I ran into, but I'm sure it was. So moving on from there, fixed an issue after too many bonuses to growth where food needed for the next growth event became negative. Improvements to rail networks aimed at increasing the reliability of settlements connecting to the rail network over water by building ports. This should apply as long as the capital either has a port or is connected by rail to a settlement or port. Sounds good to me. I didn't have any issues with this, but yeah. Moving on from there, made improvements to the loyalty crisis and the antiquity age, including giving the ability to purchase villas in towns during this crisis, giving another way to manage the happiness of your settlements. I think every single crisis that I've ran into was the plague. So I haven't actually ran into the loyalty crisis in the antiquity age, but it sounds like it was pretty bad. And it's good that they're giving, they're not just nerfing it, they're giving players options on how to deal with it. I like seeing changes like that. Then we have our last gameplay change. They said a note about crossplay multiplayer to expedite updates to the PC experience. we'll sometimes deploy patches to PC at a different cadence than we do on consoles, including today's patch 1.0.1. As a result, crossplay between PC players and console players is temporarily disabled. This will have no impact on console players attempting to cross-platform play with other console players, nor on PC to PC multiplayer. So it sounds like from time to time you'll have issues cross-playing. That could definitely be annoying if you're like, in the middle of the game, in the middle of a game, and you stop for the night, and then you want to play the next day, and that's just disabled. That can definitely suck, but it sounds like there's not really a way around it. But yeah, that's awful. So moving on from there. So they had some AI changes that looked pretty good. The first one is the AI will now offer higher value cities less often during peace deals. Personally, I never found the AI peace deals to be too lucrative. Generally, if I was absolutely dominating an AI in one of the games, they would offer me, a couple cities, and I would usually decline just because I was going to take over all their cities anyways. So, I mean, this change is like fine, but I don't know. I guess we'll see. The next change is in modern AI will now declare war less often at the start of the age. I did notice this. I was pretty peaceful with a lot of the civilizations right up until the modern age, and then at the beginning they all denounced me and then tried to declare war. So that was an interesting thing on modern. I think that's a good change because it was just like sort of random, like they just all declared war. And then the next change is in modern AI will now consider ideology more before declaring war or offering peace. That's cool, making it more realistic. Sounds good. Moving on from there, other leaders now have a decreased desire for war if neither party has an ideology. Other leaders now have an increased desire for war with players of opposing ideologies, and other leaders now have a decreased desire for peace with players of opposing ideologies. That's good. Again, more realism. I guess we'll have to wait and see how this feels in practice in the game, but I do like the thought behind it at least. So moving on from there to our camera. There's just one thing. They fixed an issue on native resolutions where the camera would focus on the lower end of the map when clicking on the minimap. I think this might have actually happened to me. I just, you click on the bottom part of the map and then it just, or you click on the mini map and then just randomly focus on the lower end. I remember that happening once and it was really annoying. So it's good to see that they fixed that issue. So then this is what a lot of people care the most about. They have a bunch of UI updates. So the first one is they replace the simplified Chinese font with the font used in Civilization 6 while we work on additional improvements for future patches. Okay. Fixed an issue where the settlement menu fails to open when clicking on a non-player settlement banner in gameplay. That's a great change. That was really annoying. They fixed an issue where yield icons fail to populate on the now available buildings when converting a town to a city. Good. They fixed an issue where some text was cut off from the global yields breakdown screen. I didn't actually run into that one. I'm sure it exists, but I didn't see it. They added a notification for completed espionage actions so they can more easily check the results of their espionage actions. Okay, notifications, thank goodness. That's one of the things the game is missing. I haven't read the rest of the UI changes yet, but I hope that they add notifications for when you're when you're being attacked by someone, because my units have been defending and across the map, and I had no idea because there was no notification. There wasn't even a sound cue that I was getting attacked. So that needs to be a thing. There needs to be some sort of sound cue that my units are being attacked somewhere in the world, or a notification, just anything. They do a notification for undefended settlements, but there's no notification for being attacked, which is just crazy to me. So anyways, moving on from there. City projects no longer appear to be purchasable. Your current religion is now displayed first in the belief picker tabs. Cool. Fixed an issue where a district's health bar would remain on screen after being fully healed. I don't think I ever ran into that issue. They fixed an issue where leaders fail to have a portrait when the relationship has changed during gameplay. I did run into that. They improved the alignment of leader names and portraits on the age summary when viewing the overview screen of the victory rankings. And then next, they fixed an issue where the background color remains the default color when the user changes it in the player customization tab. And then finally, they improved the spacing between civ descriptions, unique units, building icons on the loading screen. Okay, they have some UI updates. They're missing a ton. The technology tree still looks terrible. I want to see updates to the resource screen. Right now, you can't drag. It doesn't, it makes sense. It's for consoles, but for fuck's sake, I should be able to click on something, hold it, and then drag it over to the slot where it goes for my resources. It's so fresh. The resource screen has got to be the most frustrating UI element of the entire game. It's just, oh, it's so frustrating, especially in the modern age when you're moving around a ton of resources. It's just, oh, that screen's so bad. But other than that, it is good to see that at least they're getting out patches pretty quickly. I mean, this patch was like 2 days after their last announcement, so it is good to see they're making changes. I just hope that they listen to the community and make the changes that the most people want to see. I have seen that some people have already posted mods that have changes to the UI, so that's cool. Maybe I'll make a video over some of those if I find one that I like. But anyways, Civ 7 is live for everyone globally. They've released their first patch. I've been having a ton of fun. Hopefully y'all have a ton of fun when you hop in tomorrow. And yeah, anyways, I hope y'all found this video helpful. I'll have a bunch more videos coming out this week just on guides. I'll have news videos coming out. If you're interested in any of that, feel free to subscribe to catch my future videos. I'll have one linked at the end of this video. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope y'all have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time.